Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm so genuinely thrilled you're here with us today. You know, there's something incredibly special about this moment, sitting down to explore one of the most fundamental aspects of human communication, our emotions.
And I couldn't agree more. Hi, everyone. I'm excited to dive into this with you. Before we begin, I just want to say, if you're feeling even a tiny bit nervous about learning English, that's completely natural. In fact, that nervous feeling, we're going to learn how to express it perfectly by the end of our conversation today.
That's such a beautiful point. You know, emotions aren't just feelings we experience, they're the very foundation of connection. When we can accurately describe how we feel, we don't just speak better English, we build deeper relationships. We're understood more clearly, and honestly, we understand ourselves better too.
Absolutely. And here's something fascinating. Did you know that research shows people who can articulate their emotions with precision tend to regulate those emotions more effectively? It's called emotional granularity. The more specific words you have for your feelings, the more control you have over your emotional life.
Wow, I love that you brought that up. So today isn't just about vocabulary. It's about giving you tools for emotional intelligence in English. We'll explore not just the basic emotions, but all those nuanced, subtle feelings that make us human.
Right, because life isn't just happy or sad, is it? Sometimes you're happy but also anxious about something coming up, or you're excited but also exhausted. These complex emotional states need complex language.
Exactly. So let's start with a question for you, and I really want you to think about this honestly. Right now, in this very moment, how are you feeling? Not just good or fine, but really, what's the texture of your emotional state?
That's such a thoughtful question. You know what? I feel contemplative, like my mind is gently turning things over, examining them from different angles. There's also this underlying sense of contentment, like a warm current running beneath everything else. And if I'm being completely honest, there's a tiny thread of anticipation because I'm curious about where our conversation will take us.
See? That's exactly what I'm talking about. You didn't just say, I feel good. You painted a picture with words. Contemplative, contentment, anticipation. Those words have color, texture, depth. That's the level we want to reach together today.
And it's interesting because when I really stop to examine my feelings, I notice layers I wouldn't have seen if someone had just asked, "How are you?" and expected a one-word answer. There's this peaceful quality, but also alertness, calm but engaged, relaxed yet focused.
This is beautiful. You're demonstrating something so important. Emotions aren't simple. They're sophisticated, multi-dimensional experiences. And English, wonderfully, gives us an incredibly rich vocabulary to capture all these dimensions.
So true. Now, let me ask you the same question. How are you feeling right now in this moment?
Oh, what a wonderful question to reflect on. I feel invigorated, like there's this bright energy running through me. But it's not chaotic energy, it's purposeful, directed. I also feel grateful, deeply grateful for this opportunity to connect. And underneath everything, there's this quiet confidence, this sense that what we're doing here matters, that it'll genuinely help people.
I can feel that energy coming through in your words. You know what strikes me is how you used invigorated instead of just excited. Can you explain the difference for our listeners?
Oh, excellent question. Excited suggests anticipation, looking forward to something that's coming. But invigorated means you feel energized, refreshed, filled with vitality. It's more about your current state of aliveness. You could feel invigorated after a morning run, or after a stimulating conversation, or even after solving a challenging problem.
Perfect distinction. And this is exactly why vocabulary matters so much. The right word doesn't just communicate, it illuminates the precise shade of your experience.
Beautifully said. Now, let's build our emotional vocabulary systematically. Let's start with what I call the foundational four: joy, sadness, anger, and fear. Every other emotion we'll explore today connects somehow to these four roots.
Great framework. Let's begin with joy. Now, happy is the word everyone knows, but joy has so many expressions. Sometimes you're cheerful, bright and light, with a smile that comes easily. Other times you're delighted, surprised by happiness, caught off guard by something wonderful.
Exactly. And then there's elated. That's joy that lifts you up, makes you feel like you're floating. I feel elated when something I've worked towards for months finally succeeds. It's not just happiness, it's euphoria, elevation.
Yes, and content is another beautiful form of joy that people often overlook. Contentment isn't loud or flashy. It's that deep, settled satisfaction. You're not jumping up and down, but there's this pervasive sense that everything is as it should be.
I love contentment. It's underrated. You know when you feel content? When you finish a good meal with people you love, and you're just sitting there in comfortable silence, feeling full and warm and safe. That's contentment.
That's a perfect example. And then there's pleased, which is more specific than happy. You're pleased when something meets or exceeds your standards. I'm pleased with how this project turned out. It carries this sense of approval.
Right. And thrilled takes it even higher. That's intense excitement and happiness combined. I'm thrilled to announce it's got energy, momentum.
Now let's explore sadness, because this is where English gets really nuanced. Sadness isn't just one flat feeling. It has depth and variation.
Absolutely. Sometimes you're melancholy. That's a gentle, reflective sadness. It's not sharp or painful. It's more like a soft gray mist over your thoughts. You might feel melancholy on a rainy Sunday afternoon, thinking about old memories.
What a beautiful way to describe it. And then there's downhearted, which is when your spirits are low, when you feel discouraged, like when you've been trying really hard at something and you're not seeing results yet.
Yes, exactly. Dejected goes even further. That's when you feel defeated, like your enthusiasm has been knocked out of you. I felt dejected once when a project I'd poured my heart into got rejected.
That must have been really difficult. And that connects to disappointed, which we feel when expectations aren't met. But disappointment has this specific quality. It's not just sadness, it's sadness mixed with surprise that things didn't go as you hoped.
Perfect description. Then there's heartbroken, which is profound sadness, usually connected to loss or deep hurt. It's not an everyday word, but when it applies, no other word will do.
And sorrowful has this quality of deep, enduring sadness, often with a spiritual or existential dimension. It's a more literary word, but it captures something specific, grief that's philosophical, sadness that makes you contemplate life's bigger questions.
Such rich vocabulary. Now let's move to anger, because here, again, English gives us so many gradations.
Yes, at the mild end we have irritated, those small annoyances. Someone's tapping their pen repeatedly and you feel that little spark of irritation. It's not big anger, it's surface level.
Right. Then annoyed is slightly stronger. You're bothered. Your patience is being tested. When my neighbor plays loud music at midnight, I don't feel rage, I feel annoyed.
Then we get to frustrated, which I think is one of the most common feelings in modern life. Frustration is anger that comes from being blocked. You want to accomplish something, you're trying, but obstacles keep appearing.
Oh, I know frustration intimately. Technology is my biggest source of frustration. When the Wi-Fi drops during an important call or an app crashes right when you're finishing something, that's pure frustration. You're not angry at a person, you're angry at the situation.
Exactly. Now, angry itself is the general term. Strong displeasure, usually directed at something or someone you perceive as wrong or unfair.
And furious intensifies it. That's fierce, intense anger. When you're furious, your body feels it. Your face gets hot, your pulse quickens. It's anger that's hard to contain.
Then there's outraged, which has a moral dimension. You feel outraged when something violates your sense of justice or decency. It's anger with righteousness attached to it.
Great distinction. And resentful is anger that's been sitting inside you, festering. It's not explosive, it's the slow burning feeling you get when you feel you've been treated unfairly over time.
Yes, resentment is corrosive, and bitter takes it even further. That's resentment that's turned into a lasting attitude, a hardened heart. It's sad, actually, because bitterness doesn't just hurt others, it hurts the person feeling it most.
Such an important observation. Now let's talk about fear and anxiety, because these feelings are so universal, especially in challenging times.
Absolutely. Nervous is where many of us live much of the time, that jittery, unsettled feeling before something important. Your stomach feels fluttery, your hands might be a bit shaky.
I feel nervous before speaking to large groups, even after years of doing it. Nervousness is anticipatory. It's about what might happen, not what is happening.
Exactly. Anxious is similar, but more intense and often more general. When you're anxious, your worry doesn't always have a specific focus. It's that pervasive unease, that sense that something might go wrong even if you can't pinpoint what.
Yes, and anxiety often involves physical symptoms, tension, racing thoughts, difficulty concentrating. I've learned that saying, "I feel anxious," instead of just, "I'm stressed," actually helps me address it more effectively.
That's the power of precise language. Worried is focused anxiety. You're concerned about something specific. I'm worried about the test tomorrow, or I'm worried about my friend who's going through a hard time.
And stressed is when pressure is weighing on you. You have too much to do, too many demands, too little time. Stress is that feeling of being squeezed from all sides.
Then overwhelmed takes it further. That's when the pressure exceeds your perceived ability to cope. Everything feels like too much. You don't even know where to start.
I've definitely felt overwhelmed, especially when facing multiple big challenges simultaneously. The key I've learned is to break things down, address one thing at a time. But in the moment, overwhelm is paralyzing.
Absolutely. Now, scared and afraid are quite similar, basic fear responses. But terrified is extreme fear, the kind that makes your heart pound and your body want to run.
And panicked is fear mixed with that sense of urgency and loss of control. When you panic, rational thinking becomes difficult. Everything feels urgent and chaotic.
Then there's apprehensive, which is milder, a sense of unease about what might happen, but not full fear. You're cautious, wary, slightly on edge.
Yes, I feel apprehensive when starting something new, a new job, a new project. It's not terror, it's just uncertainty mixed with slight concern.
Now let's explore some of the more complex, nuanced emotions, the ones that don't fit neatly into those 4 basic categories.
Oh, this is where it gets really interesting. Let's talk about grateful. This is one of my favorite emotions to experience and express. Gratitude is that warm recognition of goodness in your life, acknowledging that something valuable has been given to you or exists for you.
I think gratitude is transformative. When I actively notice what I'm grateful for, my whole perspective shifts. I'm grateful for simple things: morning coffee, sunshine through my window, a friend's text message. These small gratitudes add up to a profound sense of richness.
That's beautiful. And thankful is very similar to grateful, though perhaps slightly more directed at specific things or people. I'm thankful for your help has that concrete quality.
Now let's talk about proud, because pride is interesting. Healthy pride is satisfaction in achievement, your own or someone else's. I'm proud of how hard you worked. It's celebration of effort and accomplishment.
Yes, I feel proud when I see my students master something difficult. It's not about ego, it's genuine joy in witnessing growth and success.
Exactly. Now, relieved is such a specific, recognizable feeling. Relief is what washes over you when tension releases, when something you were worried about resolves favorably.
Oh, relief is almost physical, isn't it? Your shoulders drop, you exhale fully for hours. I felt so relieved when a medical test came back negative, or when a delayed flight finally took off. It's like a weight lifting.
Perfect description. And surprised is another universal emotion, that jolt when something unexpected happens. But surprises can be pleasant or unpleasant.
Right. Astonished is extreme surprise. You're shocked, amazed, completely caught off guard. I was astonished by her generosity. It's surprise with awe mixed in.
And shocked usually carries a negative connotation. It's unpleasant surprise, something disturbing or distressing that you didn't see coming.
Yes, exactly. Now let's explore confused, that disorienting feeling when you don't understand something, when information doesn't make sense or seems contradictory.
Confusion is frustrating because it's a state of not knowing. I'm confused about the instructions, or I'm confused by his behavior. It's mental fog, lack of clarity.
And bewildered is intense confusion mixed with surprise. You're not just unclear, you're completely puzzled, perhaps a bit lost. It's confusion with a component of amazement at your own lack of understanding.
Great distinction. Now, curious is wonderful. It's that desire to know, to understand, to explore. Curiosity is what drives learning and discovery.
I love curiosity. It's such a positive, energizing emotion. When I'm curious, I feel engaged and alive. I'm curious about how this works, or I'm curious to hear your perspective. It opens doors.
Absolutely. And interested is similar, but perhaps slightly more focused. Interest is directed attention. Something has captured your focus and you want to know more.
Now, let's talk about embarrassed, because this is such a universal human experience. Embarrassment is that acute self-consciousness when you've made a social misstep or been exposed in some way.
Oh, embarrassment is so uncomfortable. Your face flushes, you want to disappear. I felt embarrassed once when I called someone by the wrong name repeatedly in an important meeting. That burning awareness of your mistake, that's embarrassment.
Yes, and ashamed goes deeper than embarrassment. Shame involves your sense of worth. You don't just feel you've done something wrong, you feel there's something wrong with you. It's a painful emotion that touches your identity.
That's an important and difficult distinction. Shame can be quite damaging, while embarrassment is usually temporary and social. With embarrassment, you can usually laugh about it later.
Exactly. Now, guilty is what you feel when you believe you violated your own moral code or hurt someone. Guilt is about your actions. I feel guilty about forgetting her birthday. And guilt can actually be constructive if it motivates you to make amends or change behavior. I feel guilty, so I apologized and made it right. It's a moral emotion that helps maintain social bonds.
Well said. Now let's explore jealous, which is complex. Jealousy typically involves three people. You fear losing someone's attention or affection to a rival. It's relational and possessive.
Yes, though people often confuse jealousy with envy. Envy is actually about wanting what someone else has. I envy her success, or I envy his natural talent. It's a two-person emotion, you and the person who has something you want.
Excellent clarification. Jealousy says, that person is threatening my relationship, while envy says, I want what you have. Both can be uncomfortable, but they're distinctly different.
Right. And then there's admiration, which is the positive side of that coin. Instead of envying someone, you appreciate their qualities or achievements. I admire her courage, or I admire his dedication.
Admiration is such a generous emotion. It's recognizing excellence or virtue in others without feeling diminished by it.
Beautifully said. Now, hopeful is an emotion I try to cultivate. Hope is forward-looking optimism. You expect positive possibilities in the future despite present difficulties.
Hope sustains us through hard times. I'm hopeful that things will improve, or I'm hopeful about this new opportunity. It's not naive, it's choosing to believe in potential.
And optimistic is similar, expecting favorable outcomes, seeing the bright side. Optimistic people tend to be happier and more resilient because they frame challenges as temporary and opportunities as abundant.
On the flip side, there's pessimistic, expecting unfavorable outcomes, seeing problems and limitations. Pessimism can be protective sometimes, but chronic pessimism is draining.
True. Now, let's talk about confident, that feeling of self-assurance, trust in your own abilities. Confidence isn't arrogance, it's realistic belief in yourself.
I feel confident when I'm well prepared and operating in my strengths. Confidence is quiet confidence. You don't need to announce it. You simply move forward with assurance.
Perfect. And insecure is the opposite, doubting yourself, feeling uncertain about your abilities or worth. Insecurity makes you second-guess everything.
Yes, and vulnerable is related but different. Vulnerability is openness to being hurt or exposed. It takes courage to be vulnerable, to show your true self despite the risk.
That's profound. Researcher Brené Brown talks about how vulnerability is actually the birthplace of connection, creativity, and change. It's not weakness, it's brave authenticity.
I love that reframe. Now, lonely is an important emotion to name. Loneliness is feeling disconnected, isolated, lacking meaningful connection, and crucially, you can feel lonely even when surrounded by people.
That's so true. Loneliness isn't about being alone. It's about feeling alone, feeling unseen or misunderstood. It's one of the most painful human experiences.
And its opposite might be connected or belonging. That sense of being part of something larger, of mattering to others, of being seen and valued.
Yes, belonging is fundamental to well-being. Now, let's talk about bored, that restless dissatisfaction when you lack stimulation or engagement. Time seems to slow down when you're bored.
Boredom is interesting because it's often a signal. Your mind is telling you it needs something more engaging, more meaningful, more challenging.
Great point. And indifferent takes it further. That's when you don't care at all, when something fails to engage even your annoyance. Indifference is emotional flatness.
Now, motivated is a powerful state. You're driven, energized by purpose. You want to act, to achieve, to make progress. Motivation is what gets you moving.
I feel most motivated when I can see how my efforts serve something larger than myself. Purpose fuels motivation.
Absolutely. And inspired is similar, but has this quality of elevation. Something has lifted your thoughts or aspirations. I'm inspired by her story, or I feel inspired to create something new.
Inspiration is like a gift from outside yourself. Beauty, courage, wisdom that sparks something inside you.
Now, let's talk about calm, that peaceful, untroubled state. Your mind is quiet, your body is relaxed. Calm is absence of agitation.
Calmness is something I've learned to cultivate through practice. It's not just about external circumstances, it's an internal steadiness. You can feel calm even in chaos if you're centered.
That's wisdom right there. And peaceful is similar, but perhaps broader, a sense of harmony, contentment, freedom from disturbance.
Yes, peace is wholeness. And then there's serene, which is calm with a quality of luminous clarity. Serenity is exquisite inner stillness.
Beautiful. Now, restless is the opposite. Inability to settle, constant need to move or change. Restlessness is uncomfortable agitation.
I feel restless when I'm not living in alignment with my values or when I have unexpressed creative energy. It's like an internal itch that needs scratching.
Great insight. And agitated is similar but more intense. You're disturbed, stirred up, unable to find ease.
Now, let's explore satisfied, that feeling of contentment with what is, of needs being met, of sufficiency. I'm satisfied with this outcome.
Satisfaction is underrated. It's not resignation, it's genuine fulfillment. You're not constantly grasping for more because what you have feels enough.
And dissatisfied is chronically feeling that things aren't good enough, that something's missing. Dissatisfaction can motivate improvement, but chronic dissatisfaction creates suffering.
True. Now, eager is wonderful. Enthusiastic willingness, keen desire to do something. I'm eager to start this project. There's energy and positive anticipation.
Eagerness is childhood energy, isn't it? That bright readiness to jump in. I try to approach new experiences with eagerness rather than apprehension.
Beautiful approach. And reluctant is the opposite. Unwillingness, hesitation, resistance to doing something. I'm reluctant to commit without more information.
Reluctance is worth paying attention to. It might be wisdom, intuition telling you to pause.
Absolutely. Now, disgusted is a strong aversion, revulsion, strong distaste. I'm disgusted by that behavior. It's visceral rejection.
Yes, disgust is actually considered a basic emotion by many psychologists. It's protective, keeping us away from contamination or moral violations.
Fascinating. And then there's uncomfortable, which is milder. You're uneasy, not at ease, but not strongly repulsed. Discomfort is that squirmy feeling of something being not quite right.
I've learned that discomfort is often where growth happens. When I feel uncomfortable, I try to get curious rather than immediately avoiding it.
That's such a mature response. Now, miserable is deep unhappiness, wretchedness, profound discomfort. When you're miserable, everything feels heavy and difficult.
Misery is suffering that touches your whole being. It's important to reach out for support when you feel miserable rather than trying to tough it out alone.
Absolutely. And devastated is overwhelming grief or shock. You feel destroyed, shattered by loss or disappointment. I was devastated when I heard the news.
Devastation is profound. It's not something you bounce back from quickly. It requires time, support, and compassion.
Yes. Now, indignant is that righteous anger when you feel you've been treated unfairly or disrespectedly. I'm indignant at that accusation.
Indignation has moral force. You're not just angry, you're angry because a principle has been violated.
Exactly. And offended is when something has hurt your feelings or violated your sensibilities. I'm offended by that remark. It's personal hurt mixed with disapproval.
Now, touched is a tender emotion. You're emotionally moved by kindness or beauty. I was touched by her thoughtfulness. It's gentle, warm appreciation.
I love that emotion. Being touched opens your heart, and moved is similar, deeply affected emotionally, often to the point of tears. I was moved by the ceremony.
Yes, and nostalgic is that bittersweet longing for the past. Nostalgia is remembering with affection and some sadness that those times are gone.
Nostalgia can be sweet, like, I feel nostalgic thinking about summer vacations as a child, but it can also keep you from fully engaging the present.
Wise balance. And wistful is similar. Gentle sadness mixed with longing, often for something unattainable. There's a dreamy quality to wistfulness.
Now, let's talk about energized, feeling vital, vigorous, full of power and liveliness. I feel energized after that workout.
Energy is contagious, too. When you're around energized people, you tend to feel more energized yourself.
Absolutely. And drained is the opposite. Depleted, exhausted of energy. I feel completely drained after that difficult conversation.
Draining experiences or people require recovery time. It's important to recognize what drains you so you can replenish.
Excellent point. Now, fascinated is being captivated with intense interest. I'm fascinated by how the brain works. It's beyond mere curiosity. You're enchanted, absorbed.
Fascination is joyful engagement. When something fascinates you, learning doesn't feel like work, it feels like discovery.
And intrigued is similar. Your interest is piqued. You're curious and want to know more. I'm intrigued by that idea. It's the beginning of fascination.
Now, suspicious is doubting trustworthiness, sensing something isn't right. I'm suspicious of promises that sound too good to be true. It's protective vigilance.
Suspicion can be wise. Healthy boundaries require some discernment, but chronic suspicion becomes paranoia and damages relationships.
Important distinction. And skeptical is similar but more intellectual. You're doubting claims, requiring evidence before believing. I'm skeptical of that theory.
Skepticism is essential for critical thinking. Now, affectionate is feeling or showing fondness and tenderness. I feel affectionate toward my old childhood home. Its warm care